can't be late on a cold day.
Everyone appreciates that. Good morning, everyone, and welcome on this beautiful, sunny, crisp Sunday to Saratoga Park. Before I begin, I want to acknowledge a few people who are here with us this morning. Our great mayor of the city of New York, Eric Adams. A longtime partner and great park advocate, Community Board 3 District Manager Ernie Butler. And we've got a full force of great park staff who's with us this morning as well. Our new first Deputy Commissioner, Iris Rodriguez-Rosa, is here. Our Deputy Commissioner for Capital Projects, Therese Braddock. Our Deputy Commissioner and Chief Operating Officer, Mark Folk, is here. And our Brooklyn Borough Commissioner, Marty Marr. I want to also recognize Tiffany Briery from the Trust for Public Land. Good morning, Tiffany. And Chris Beldante from Fredante Construction, our contractor, is also here. As we all know, parks and playgrounds have always been vital to our health and well-being, and never more so than during the last 2 years of this pandemic. In New York City, parks are our backyards, but in the past 2 years, they've also become our sanctuaries. They were the places where we'd meet our friends and families. They were our outdoor classrooms. They're where we celebrated and had birthday parties and family reunions. And they were our summer vacation destinations when we weren't able to travel. As we move forward toward recovery, New Yorkers know how vital it is to have high-quality open space. And we at the Parks Department want to build on that great momentum. We're dedicated to getting projects done on time, with an emphasis on getting communities involved in the design of their park, what they look like and how they're going to function. Under this new administration, we are also deeply committed to building equitable and sustainable parks in communities in need. Every community deserves a park they can be proud of, and it shouldn't depend on what zip code or how much money you make. We also know at the Parks Department that parks play a vital role in protecting us against the effects of climate change. That's why we're focused on building sustainable, resilient parks, using recycled materials, incorporating stormwater management to help reduce flooding, and planting and greening wherever possible. Because you see the impacts of that greening in a place like this, in the beautiful trees surrounding us in Saratoga Park. And it starts right here in BedStuy. That's why we are so excited to have the mayor here and to have all of our community support, where we've already underway on a full renovation of this community playground that you see behind me. In this project, we're going to make the playground more accessible, make sure it fits the needs of the community, and the design speaks to input we receive directly from the people who use this park the most. That's what's so important to us. So that's why this morning we are so excited to have the mayor speak and share with you our plan for our great parks across the city. But first, we're fortunate to have a very local resident and great partner in Ernie Butler, District Manager of CB3, who can speak firsthand about the value of playgrounds and parks in their local communities. So, Henry.
Fullback son.
Yes, sir. My bodyguard. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ernie Butler. I am the district manager for Community Board 3 and lifelong resident of the village of Bedford-Stuyvesant. 16 years ago, my wife and I were blessed enough to be able to purchase a home a block away from this park. And it was at this park where we created great memories. Our son was 2 months old when we first purchased our home, and it was at this park where we put him on his swing, on his first sliding board, chased him around the grass, you know, in this park. A couple of times I fell chasing him, trying to keep up. But yes, we did not want to go to Prospect Park, to Central Park. We shouldn't have to go to other parks in other neighborhoods. We should have those parks right here in our community.
Yes.
You know, every community deserves green space. Every community deserves an environment, a safe environment for their kids to play and grow up in. So, to me, parks are a place for creating great family memories. When you think about it, think about your kids and all the great memories you did in that park. You know, the chasing and the growing up and them running around and playing around. Those memories are created in your parks, in your green space. And today I want to applaud and thank the mayor for investing the resources needed to make sure this park in the heart of Bedford-Stuyvesant, will be an environmentally friendly and a safe place for future generations of kids to play in, future families to raise their kids in. So I said 16 years ago, you know, my son was 2 months old. He stands here today with me. As you can see, you know, I think he's a little taller than me right now at this time. But today I'm proud to be here with him, you know, to be able to break ground on a park for the community of Bedford-Stuyvesant and those surrounding communities for future generations, to be able to create those memories that we were once able to do with our son, my wife and I. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry, and we're so thrilled to have you and your son here. It shows how great parks are in terms of helping kids to grow, for sure. And then, without further ado, I want to announce our great mayor of the city of New York, Eric Adams.
Thank you. You know, I am just so excited about the partnership of Sue and Iris because they bring the combination. Sue and I have done some great projects together at Prospect Park, and I was just looking at both of the two of them when we decided how do we bring the right combination. I look at the evolution of Prospect Park. Historically, one side of the park was not, you know, receiving, I should say, the same level of attention, and Sue came in and just developed the whole park and equalized that. And everywhere I went in the Bronx, all they did was talk about you, Iris. You know, so we have a great team here, and you won't find a park official that loves their jobs more than Marty. Good God. He probably have Parks pajamas or something. You know, he loves his job, and you need that energy. And to the park employees, our safety officers that are here, the contractors, those who trim the trees, but nothing really touched me as much as what Henry stated. You know, you're dead on. You know, oftentimes we look at the parks and we don't understand what takes place here. You know, I remember when Mom passed away, I went down to Brooklyn Bridge Park, and I would just sit there and look at the water and just have a moment of reflection. And even during COVID, if we didn't have our parks, I think the parks saved a lot of marriages, you know, because locked up in the doors or the apartments all the time, being able to walk through the park, running through the park, tough decisions. It was the side of the park that I talked to my son about going away to school and why it was important to go to college. It was in the park when I sat down and had conversation with our family members as we planned events. You know, these spaces are so crucial because we are of nature and part of nature, and we want to be connected to nature. And living in a brick, metal, in a city where you have so many buildings and constructions, green spaces play a major role in, you know, seeing a young man at 16 can talk about the days he spent with his dad inside the park, or hearing the baby in the background. I heard the baby, you know, talking and playing, or walking our dogs, and, you know, just connecting with ourselves. Parks are the places, you know. Many days in Prospect Park, I sat down and just meditated, did breathing exercises, walked my bike. It's the great equalizer. I don't care if you are a billionaire or a plumber that works inside the home of a billionaire. When you come in the park, all of that is gone. You have to sit on the same grass. You're looking at the same trees. You are experiencing the same experiences. And it's just a great equalizer for our city. So we want to get this right. And I want to thank Sue and her entire team that is part of the announcement that we're doing today, because it shows that we're moving in the right direction in what we're doing. And focus on how we're doing it. So we want the parks to look great. But we also want the people who renovate the parks to be employed so that they can live in the communities around the parks. They want to make sure diversity is there. We want to make sure our parks are safe. Do you know that areas where there are parks are clearly a safe place in the city? All of this is connected, and far too long we ignored that connection. And so today is a great day for our city. It's a great day for our parks, and it's an important pathway as we revitalize our city as we come out of COVID. Saratoga Park, I'm a BedStuy guy too. I spent a lot of times, riding my bike through this park, right up here off Broadway. When I was a kid on Gates Avenue, I look at Broadway. I thought that's where Sammy Davis Jr. used to perform. Little did I know, no, that's not the Broadway, Eric. But it's still my Broadway, And so this parks is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's a healthy place to build community. And regardless of your zip code, your ethnicity, regardless of the language you speak, you should have a park where you can enjoy the lifetime memories. And so today we're breaking ground on a $2.2 million refurbishment of Saratoga Park, a nice piece of change going into this park, and it's including a new play equipment like swings and tot play areas so babies can enjoy the space, as well as new lighting, ground games, restoration of the surrounding lawn. Some of it you're seeing here, but it's a refurbishing of a great park space, and $2.2 million is going into that. But we're also announcing today the groundbreaking of a 100 park projects beginning construction this spring of $417 million capital investment projects that were paused during the pandemic. Our lives were placed on hold. COVID hijacked not only our personal spaces, but our green spaces. And we're saying today, as we cycle out of COVID, that it's time to get back into our green and our open spaces, and we're going to spend $417 million in doing so. And here's the thing. 50% of the projects will be awarded to minority and women-owned businesses. 50%. And each project would employ an average of 40 workers. The projects would include sustainability features such as LED lighting. So we're looking at our environment. As we build parks for a great environment, we're going to take care of our environment. It will also have rain gardens and planting trees, as well as on-site stormwater capture and use of recycled and resilient materials. Real smart designs as we make our green spaces grow. We're going to restore areas that needed help for so long, and you know it. You walk through your parks and you're seeing that these areas must be refurbished, and that's what we're going to do. New Yorkers can benefit from an experienced, beautiful park throughout our entire city. And it's the tools of equity is what we're looking at. The goal is to end the inequalities that we have witnessed for years. We know that there's been a focus, for the most part, in the centralizing of resources in certain parks in our city. You don't see it in others. Those days are over. We're going to bring the great equalizers because every community deserves a great park. And 62% of the parks that we are refurbishing will be in underserved communities. So we're going off the beaten path. Going to create new access points for New Yorkers and bring more people into green spaces. And our parks are lifelines. They are crucial, as we say over and over again, for our physical, our mental, and our emotional stability. And I'm happy that we're doing this in an equitable way. So New York City is back, and parks are a symbol of the recovery. So we're going to break ground on parks today for the parks of tomorrow and our future, so future generations can get together and talk about the great days they had with their children as they played in the park spaces. We say this over and over again. It has become a motto, but it's a lifestyle. It's not just a slogan. It's a belief. This is an administration that is going to GSD. We're going to get stuff done. We're going to leave our print on our city. Our city is going to be a better, safer, cleaner place to raise healthy children and families. But you have a role also as New Yorkers. It's imperative that we break out of our boundaries. We have to cross-pollinate. This park would not be significant if it just had one tree or one type of plant. It is a place of enjoyment because of the cross-pollination of flowers. It's time for us to cross-pollinate as New Yorkers. If we want to stop hate crimes, of our anti-Asian violence, of our anti-Semitism, anti-LGBTQ plus communities. If we want to stop that, it starts with us. We can't continue to live in a city where we are isolated. If all we know are people who look like us, talk like us, walk like us, listen to the same music, eat the same food, do the same things, that's a Shakespearean tragedy. It's time for us to live the love affair of being in a city as diverse as New York. 47% of New Yorkers speak a language other than English at home. This is a great moment for all of us. It's an excellent experiment of human existence. And let's use these parks to introduce our children to children of another community. You watch babies, they play, they enjoy each other. They don't ask what culture you're from. We humans have screwed this darn thing up. Let these children enjoy each other and enjoy the diversity of not only the diversity in the plants and trees and parks, but the diversity of the human experience. That's what these parks must represent, so we can raise children that won't attack each other because of their culture, their skin color, the language they speak. They'll understand that we're all in this together. That's the investment in seeds we must plant today to have a brighter future for tomorrow. So my team at the parks, I want to thank you so much for what you're doing. Every day that you go to work, understand that you're not only grooming the parks, but you're grooming our future, and we can do it together. Thank you very much. And you're right, sir. You're right. And you're right. Thank you. Listen, you're right. Kyrie can play tomorrow. Get vaccinated. Go ahead. I love New York and hecklers, man. I come out of City Hall and people are outside protesting, and I say, wow, it's great to be in New York.
Mr. Mayor, you promised during the campaign you committed to 1% of the city budget going to the park system. Obviously that was not the case in the budget you proposed, so there's been some criticism of that. Just wondering, are you still planning to do that, and why wasn't it in this budget?
Yeah, we did half that percentage. As you know, COVID threw us all off our game. All of our agencies, for the most part, including parks, had to go in and do a 3% peg. We are pushing to get more capital dollars, but, this is early. This is the first budget, preliminary budget, and the goal is to get to that 1%. I'm a big believer in parks. Sue would tell you how much money I put in parks and Marty when I was the borough president. So we want to get there. But, COVID really hit us. We're dealing with an economic crisis in our city, and all of the agencies had to reflect on how we're going to spend. But we'll get there. I'm confident that we are.
All righty. Any other on-topic? Okay, I think we have time for one on-topic.
We have one or two. Go ahead.
Just wondering if you've talked to any of the victims from the stabbings, any update on the guy that did it? Stabbings.
Yes. We reached out to both individuals while they were in the hospital. We're really we're praying for them. Thank God they appear to be non-life-threatening injuries, and the goal is to catch him. We know who he is, and the police department will apprehend him. That was an unfortunate situation. Safe work spaces is crucial, and you should not have to deal with that violence because you were not allowed inside the museum.
Any update on the homeless shootings?
It broke my heart. If anyone saw the video of what happened last night, we responded to the scene and to the precinct. This was an intentional murder. This individual approached the two men one at a time. You see him looking around, making sure no one was around, kicking the homeless person to make sure they were not asleep, and just assassinated them. It was something that you would not imagine would take place in our city. Thank God, I believe one of the homeless gentlemen, our neighbors, our brother, I believe that he's alive today because he woke up after he heard the first gunshot and started yelling, and the second person did not. And I mean, he stood over him and shot him in his head for no reason at all but being homeless. And so we will catch him. The detectives are going to investigate, and we will catch him. But we also are mobilizing on the streets to notify our homeless, to try to get them in shelters, those who want to do so, and not give them the resources that they deserve. But being homeless should not turn into a homicide, and I want to catch this guy bad.
Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Move over this way and break down.